I'm going to start a new series talking about micro-sexist things that we've just normalized as okay and we usually don't really talk about. Let's talk about the sexualization and just the way that we even use the term girls with daddy issues. First of all, I have never heard of a guy who has daddy issues who is sexualized the same way that women are. The term daddy issues, like so many other social concepts, puts blame on little girls and not on adult males for failing their kids. A girl and women will walk around their whole lives with that label tied to their back, but a father who did something bad to them will exist as a father and nothing else. This concept also relies on the fact that women are completely broken and not senile without men in their lives. And the craziest part about that is when women are seen as unstable, they have trauma, they're sexualized because of it. Here is part 2 of sexist things that we have normalized, but let's talk about it. Today is the double bind in the workplace, and when I tell you, you're going to hear this and be like, yep. So in my own words, the double bind is basically a spectrum that women in the workplace fall somewhere on. On one side of the spectrum, it's someone who is soft-spoken, who keeps to herself, and on the other side of the double bind is a woman who is more loud, who is more assertive, and who is more passionate. What are the repercussions on sitting on each side of the double bind? Basically, no matter where you sit on the double bind, whether it's the middle or each side, you're going to face sexist repercussions. The sexist repercussion that someone who is more quiet will face is that they will be seen as incompetent. They will not be hired for a promotion, but they're someone that people like. Someone that's a more loud-spoken and passionate, they're a bitch and they're aggressive. And while they may get seen for promotions, they are not liked and they will face a really tarnished reputation because of that. And so a lot of women try to conform somewhere in the middle of the double bind so they won't face workplace repercussions. And the problem is that perfect place doesn't exist. It's quite literally a double bind. So this is part 3 of sexist things that we have normalized, but we should talk about. Today, let's talk about women, sex, and pleasure. Not all women have vaginas and uteruses. Not all individuals who have vaginas and uteruses are women. So if you have a vagina, you probably know the rhetoric that women don't usually come during sex or finish at all. It's like very rare. A lot of times sex is seen as something that happens to us, not with us. And language that we use perpetuates that. But today I want to talk about the historical context of what is called clitoral neglect. So here's what it is, but to summarize, basically the clitoris is the only structure in the human body made solely for pleasure, but because men didn't think it was appropriate to talk about women's bodies or even touch women's bodies, for so long this part of our body has been neglected. So men not finding the clit has very much historical context that's rooted in misogyny and sexism.